Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Unless this is your first time here, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a look at Amumu for the very first time, the Sad Mummy. Like I said, if this is your first time here, what we normally do is we look at the biography and story for the character first. We move on to the gameplay abilities, take a look at any cinematics they might be in, look at the skins, the wiki, and we finally end off on the voice lines at the very end of the video. And I'll have everything chaptered out if you want to go ahead and fast forward to any of those parts. But I would love for you to watch, this whole thing with us and enjoy the ride. All right, guys. So Amumu is somebody I don't know like the most about, but I don't know if there is a lot to know about Amumu. I think I know the basics. He's always crying. I know I watched like one little tiny cinematic for him a long time ago. And then I think the idea of Amumu is there probably aren't very many voice lines for Amumu. So we're going to dive in here, see what we have. Amumu seems pretty unique. Every character in League of Legends seems pretty unique, but Amumu especially seems kind of interesting. I want to know kind of the background on Amumu, maybe the powers of Amumu and whatnot. So that's what we're going to be doing here today. So go ahead and grab a snack and a drink, and we're going to dive into Amumu's biography. All right. The quote says, "Solitude can be lonelier than death." Dang, that's kind of crazy. Role is tank. I did not expect that. We have no relationships or anything with anybody. The region is Shurima for Amumu, which just makes sense. All right, the paragraph says, "Legend claims that Amumu is a lonely and melancholy soul from ancient Shurima, roaming the world in search of a friend. Doomed by an ancient curse to remain alone forever, his touch is death, his affection ruin. Those who claim to have seen him describe a living cadaver, small in stature and wrapped in creeping bandages. Amumu has inspired myths, songs, and folklore told and retold for generations, such that it is impossible to separate truth from fiction." Okay, I hope maybe we learn more about this curse and obviously just more about Amumu. So let's dive. A lonely and melancholy soul from ancient Shurima, Amumu roams the world in search of a friend. Cursed by an ancient spell, he is doomed to remain alone forever, as his touch is death and his affection ruin. The hardy folk of Shurima agree upon certain things. The wind always blows from the west in the morning. A full belly on a new moon is an ill omen. Buried treasure hides under the heaviest of rocks. They do not agree, however, about the tale of Amumu. One oft-told story links Amumu to the first great ruling family of Shurima, who succumbed to a disease that corrupted flesh with hideous speed. The youngest child, Amumu, was quarantined in his chambers and befriended a servant girl who heard his cries through the walls. She regaled the lonely air with courtly news and stories of her grandmother's mystic powers. One morning, the girl brought word that Amumu's last remaining brother had passed away, making him Emperor of Shurima. Saddened that he had to bear this news alone, she unlocked his door and ran inside to comfort him face to face. Amumu threw his arms around her, but as they touched, he fell back, realizing he had condemned her to the same terrible fate as his family. Upon the girl's death, her grandmother placed a twisted blight on the young emperor. In her mind, Amumu had as good as murdered her kin. As the curse took effect, Amumu was trapped in this moment of suffering like a locust ensnared in honeyed amber. Okay, so we don't know which one is true or not here. It looks like we're going to be getting into another tale of Amumu. A second tale whispers of another crown prince, one given to bouts of petulance, cruelty, and murderous vanity. In this telling, Amumu was crowned Emperor of Shurima at a young age, and convinced he was blessed by the sun, he forced his subjects to worship him as a god. Okay, so in both of the stories, Amumu was Emperor of Shurima at one point. Amumu sought the fabled Eye of Angor, an ancient relic entombed in a gilded crypt, said to grant eternal life to whoever looked upon it with an unflinching heart. He hunted the treasure for years with a host of slaves who carried him through labyrinthine catacombs, sacrificing themselves to traps so that the emperor could continue without hindrance. Amumu finally reached the Cyclopean golden archway, whereupon dozens of his stonemasons labored to breach the sealed door. As the young emperor rushed within, determined to look into the Eye of Angor, his slaves seized their chance and sealed the stone doorway behind him. Some say the child emperor endured in the darkness for years, his loneliness driving him to insanity and causing him to claw at his own skin, which he was forced to wrap in bandages. His life was extended by the power of the eye as he meditated on his past transgressions, but the gift was a double-edged sword, for he was cursed to remain forever alone. When a series of devastating earthquakes shattered the foundations of his tomb, the emperor escaped with no knowledge of how much time had passed, seeking to undo the suffering he had caused in life. Okay, so our third one, yet another story of Amumu tells of the first and last Yordle ruler of Shurima, who believed in the innate goodness of the human heart. To prove his detractors wrong, he swore an oath to live as a beggar until he made one true friend, convinced his people would rally to help their fellow Shuriman. Though thousands walked by the disheveled yordle, not one stopped to offer a helping hand. Amumu's sadness grew until he eventually died of a broken heart. But his death was not the end, for some swear the yordle still wanders the desert, forever searching for someone who might restore his faith in humanity. These stories, despite their differences, are woven with parallels. Whatever the circumstances, Amumu is doomed to exist in a broken state of emptiness, eternally alone and friendless. Fated to forever search for a companion, his presence is cursed and his touch is death. On long winter nights, when the fire is never allowed to burn low, the sad mummy can sometimes be heard weeping in the desert, despairing that he'll never know the solace of friendship. Whatever Amumu searches for, atonement, kinship, or a single act of kindness, one thing is as certain as the western wind at dawn, he has yet to find it. All right, I kind of actually like this idea of a biography for a character where we're given 3 different tales of what their possible origin could be. And I think that adds obviously to the myth factor of the character, which we've had like other myth kind of characters before, but I don't think they've had like kind of definitive biographies or origins. I like this because it gives us actually more of that myth idea where we don't know the true story of Amumu's background, whether it's because he was the last child of this Shuriman family and that became emperor, or this one where, he was just an unruly emperor that was looking for the Eye of Angor and his people trapped him, or was he this yordle that chose to be a beggar to prove to his people, that he could be a beggar. So yeah, I think this is actually a really cool idea for a biography, and I like this one quite a bit because of that. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe you guys want to let me know in the comments. Have we discovered more about Amumu since this biography came out, and we actually definitively know? I wonder if the wiki later on in this reaction will tell me if there's a legitimate one to which story is true or not. Okay, the story today is called Greed and Tears. The gods were angry and shook the land. Cracks rent the earth, said old Khaldun, his crag-featured face lit by firelight. It was into one of these fissures that a young man ventured. He found an opening, the entrance to a tomb, hidden for the jackal knows how long. The man had little ones to feed and a wife to please, and so he ventured in, lured by opportunity. Adults and children alike crowded in close to hear the old storyteller's words. They were all weary. They had traveled far that day, and the Shuriman's sun had been unrelenting, but Khaldun's tales were a rare treat. They drew their cloaks tight around their shoulders against the chill of the night and leaned in. The air was cool in the tomb, a merciful relief from the scorching heat outside. The young man lit a torch. Its light made shadows dance before him. He stepped cautiously, wary of traps. He was poor, but he was no fool. The walls inside were smooth obsidian and carved with ancient writings and images. He could not read. He was a simple man, but he studied the images. He saw a boy prince sitting cross-legged upon a sun disk borne by a team of servants, a beaming smile upon his face. Chests of coins and riches were piled before him, the offerings of strangely garbed, bowing emissaries. He saw other carvings, again showing the smiling prince, this time walking among his people. Their heads were pressed to the ground before him. Stylized rays of sunshine radiated from the boy's crown. Before one of these images was a small gold statue. It alone was worth more than he could have hoped to earn in 10 lifetimes. The young man took it, slipping it into his satchel. He did not intend to linger. He knew it would not be long before others came upon this place. When they did, he wanted to be gone. Greed makes fools of even the greatest men, and he knew that others would willingly spill his blood to claim that golden statue and the other riches that were surely further in. Avarice was not one of the young man's faults, however. He felt no need to delve further. The other treasures hidden here were someone else's to claim. He looked upon one last image before he left the tomb. It showed the boy prince dead, lying upon a bier. Those closest to him were wailing, but further back, people were celebrating. Had the boy prince been beloved, or had he been a tyrant? There was no way of knowing. That was when he heard it, a sound in the darkness that made his skin crawl. He looked around, wide-eyed, holding his torch up before him. Nothing. "Who's there?" he said. Silence was his only answer. The young man shook his head. "It is just the wind, you fool," he thought. "Nothing but the wind." Then he heard it again, more distinctly this time. A child was crying in the darkness further into the tomb. Heard anywhere else, his paternal instinct would have been to go to the sound. But here, in the darkness of a funeral tomb, he wanted to run, but he did not. The sobbing touched his heart. It was filled with such misery and grief. Was it possible there was another entrance to this tomb? Had a young boy found his way down here and become lost? Torch held high, he crept forward. The weeping continued, echoing faintly through the gloom. Okay, come on. Come on, man. This is what somebody does in a horror movie. You don't go towards the scary sounds, okay? Even if it's a child crying, I'm out of there. I don't know who that child is. They can fend for themselves, okay? I don't, you know what I mean? A wide chamber opened before him, its floor black and highly reflective. Golden artifacts and jewel-inlaid walls glinted within. Gingerly, he entered the room. He stepped back sharply as his heel sent ripples spreading out across the floor. Water. The floor was not made of reflective obsidian, it was covered in water. Kneeling, he scooped a handful of it to his lips. He spat it out immediately. It was salt water. Here in the heart of Shurima, 1,000 leagues from the nearest sea. Oh, that's interesting. He heard the sound of the boy weeping once more, closer now. Holding his torch before him, the young man glimpsed a shape at the edge of its light. It appeared to be the child sitting with his back to the man. Oh, dude, that's the start of a horror movie. Carefully, he stepped into the room. The water upon the floor was not deep. The hairs on the back of his neck stood on end, and fear clutched at his chest. Yet he did not turn to run. "Are you lost?" he asked as he stepped closer. "How did you get here?" The shadowed figure did not turn, but he did speak. I don't remember," he said. The sound swam around the young man, echoing off the walls. The boy spoke in an old dialect. His words were strange, but understandable. "I don't remember who I am." "Be calm, child," said the man. "All will be well." He stepped closer, and the figure resolved itself before him. His eyes widened. The shape before him was a god statue carved in onyx, nothing more. It was not the source of the crying, nor of the child's voice. That was when a small, dry hand grabbed him. The youngest of the listeners gasped, his eyes wide. The other children laughed in false bravado. Old Khaldun smiled, a golden tooth glinting in the firelight. Then he continued. The young man looked down. The linen-wrapped corpse of the tiny prince stood beside the man. Dull, ghostly light emanated from the deathly boy's eye sockets. Though his entire face was bound in burial wrappings, the corpse child held the man's hand. "Will you be my friend?" the boy asked, his voice muffled by linen. The young man lurched backward, breaking free of the child's grasp. The young man looked down at his arm in horror. His hand was shriveling, turning black and withered. The wasting touch then began to climb up his arm. He turned and ran. In his shock and haste, he dropped his lantern. It hissed as it fell into the lake of tears. A darkness descended. Still, he could just make out the glow of daylight up ahead. He ran toward it, scrambling desperately, even as the wasting death crept up his arm towards his heart. At any moment, he expected to feel the deathly boy's grasp upon him, but did not. After what felt like an eternity, but could only have been a matter of heartbeats, he burst from the darkness into the desert heat once more. "I'm sorry," echoed a mournful voice from the gloom behind him. "I didn't mean to." Oh god, that makes it even scarier. "And thus the tomb of Amumu was unearthed," said Khaldun, "and the deathly child released into the world. But everyone knows he isn't real," cried one of the children, the oldest of them, after a moment of silence. "Amumu is real," said the youngest. "He's wandering the land trying to find a friend." "He's real, but he isn't a boy," said another. "He's a yordle." Khaldun laughed and pushed himself to his feet with the aid of a gnarled walking stick. "I am old, and we have far to travel tomorrow," he said. "It is past time I was abed." His audience began to dissipate, smiling and talking in low, familiar voices, but one child did not move. She stared at Khaldun, unblinking. "Grandfather," she said, "how did you lose your arm?" Old Khaldun looked down at the empty sleeve pinned at his shoulder, then flashed the girl a grin. "Good night, little one," he said with a wink. Oh, that was a fun story. The fact that the person telling the story was possibly the one that was in the story. So that's actually really, really fun. Yeah, this again adds to the whole myth factor of Amumu. Now, we've again had characters like this before. One that comes to my mind right away is like in Bilgewater, when I think his story is telling a story of Fizz out in the water and everything. Like there's just somebody in a bar talking about Fizz, kind of like a myth. Same idea and concept here, but it dives more into that myth factor of like, oh, was this story true? You know, it's like being told around a campfire. So I think it's really, really fun. I really like the biography and story for Amumu. I want to hear from you guys in the comments though. Yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on these two? All right, guys, time to dive into Amumu's abilities. Role is tank/support, and difficulty is low. I'm interested in what we got here. So Cursed Touch is the passive. Amumu's basic attacks curse his enemies, causing them to take bonus true damage from incoming magic damage. Okay. And it looks like he just like headbutts as a basic attack. Next up is Bandage Toss. Ooh, okay, and it actually brings him to the enemy. Amumu tosses a sticky bandage at a target, stunning and damaging the target while he pulls himself to them. Okay, it stuns as well. Very cool. Despair. Oh, the crying. It's a crying AoE. Wait, it killed the minions? Okay, overcome by anguish, nearby enemies lose a percentage of their maximum health each second and have their curses refreshed. Oh, whoa. Okay. So the maximum health each second is kind of interesting. That's like a different take on like damage, I guess. Next up is Tantrum. So angry Amumu. He like spins his head. Interesting. Permanently reduces the physical damage Amumu would take. Amumu can unleash his rage, dealing damage to surrounding enemies. Each time Amumu is hit, the cooldown on Tantrum is reduced. Oh, wow. Okay, so that's why he's kind of like this tank role as well. And then Curse of the Sad Mummy. Whoa, that's a big AoE, it looks like. Amumu entangles surrounding enemy units in bandages, applying his curse, damaging, and stunning them. I feel like Amumu's abilities here are pretty darn good. You guys will have to let me know, like, in the comments, like, how good is Amumu? But okay, interesting. He's got basically he's got 3 AoE abilities essentially, right? We got Despair AoE, Tantrum AoE, Curse of the Sad Mummy, an AoE, but his ultimate, of course. And Bandage Toss is like kind of a movement ability in a sense, if you think about it, but it's not really in a movement speed to get out of trouble. But interesting. All right, you guys have to let me know how the curse stacking works, if it's pretty good or not. Yeah, just let me know more about his abilities and if Amumu is actually pretty good in the game or not. Let me know how he was when he first came out. Was he like super overpowered and then he got toned down a bit, or how is he now in the game as well? All right, everybody. So the only trailer cinematic that we have for Amumu is the Amumu music video, The Curse of the Sad Mummy. I believe I watched this when I first got into League of Legends cinematics, right? Like I did a whole bunch of videos just looking at every cinematic, didn't know anything about lore. Now we have his background and everything, so maybe we'll get a little bit of a different sense of this music video. This has 30 million views. It was uploaded 10 years ago. That just seems like a lot of views for a video. So this, when it first came out, must have been pretty hype at the time. League might have been at its hype as well back then, 10 years ago. I don't know. But yeah, let me know why this possibly has. Maybe I'll know when I actually just watch it. But let's find out why maybe it has these 30 million views. I don't remember it. I do remember watching some sort of Amumu cinematic at some point, but I don't remember much about it. So here we go. The Curse of the Sad Mummy, Amumu music video. 4 minutes. That's long for a League video. Okay, we're seeing Shurima here. It's on top of a sand pyramid, basically. Is there singing in this? Like, I don't remember singing at all. Is this gonna make me cry? Gotta remember the animation is 10 years old, too. Oh. There is singing. About the cursed mummy boy who felt his heart no more. So that's sad. And lorn, the helpless lad, Amumu was his name. This is an introduction for a character back then. Wow. Ooh. Does it show him leaving Shurima even? Like, is that not Bilgewater back there? Oh, he bandaged to the moon. Oh, and it's a tunnel. Ooh. Now are we in the Ishtali jungle? Or where are we? Is this just Ionia? The flute's going hard right now. He's just looking for a friend, man. Nobody wants to be his friend. For many years, young Amumu traveled through the He did travel, okay. So he definitely went out of Shurima. Dang. And he would remain alone. But then the curse so sad. To whisper in his ear. Oh, it did. Ooh, there's like this shadow figure behind him. Wow. I could almost think of that like a voice in your head. Just your own voice. saying that to you. Whoa. Whoa. We got angry Amumu. Wow. Is that his ultimate? Basically. Oh, and it like wrecked that town he was in.
The moment when Amumu realized what he had done.
Oh.
Late it was for him, for them, the evil curse had won.
Bro, this is literally so sad.
And the anguish overwhelmed his fragile soul and caused a wicked tantrum that he never could control.
Cursed to be alone forever and cursed to this tantrum of his as well, really, right? If you think about it. That is such a sad story for our character here. Man, okay, so yeah, I wasn't really sure based on, you know, just our little biography and story there if Amumu stays in Shurima or not. This music video kind of tells us that he kind of does leave Shurima in a sense, at least it looks like here. I'm not 100% sure if this music video can say that or not. Yeah, I mean, Amumu's out there just looking for a friend and nobody will be his friend. Now, I wonder, like, if he were to actually have an interaction with another champion of ours that we know about, how would it go? Would they, like, what is this curse that truly makes it so nobody can be friends with Amumu? Like, if we saw, you know, a friendly Yordle come up to Amumu and they wanted to try to be friends with Amumu, are we basically saying that this curse of some kind would, like, make it so they just straight up couldn't be friends and Amumu had to be alone? Like, there's some magical properties to it. I'm just very curious, you know. I'm sure, like, people have to run into Amumu. We saw someone run into Amumu in the story. Obviously, there's the whole cursed touch thing, but just don't touch Amumu. Make sure you're not touched by him. You can still be friends with the guy. So yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming there's like some sort of magical properties there, right? Maybe the curse whispers in the head of the other person, telling them not to be friends with Amumu too, right? Like, I could see it working that way. All right, guys, now it is time to take a look at Amumu's skins in League, and he has a decent amount. Actually, he has quite a bit. So we're gonna take a look at these. I have no idea what they're gonna be doing with Amumu. It looks like we're starting off with Dumpling Darlings. We're gonna start off with newer skins and work our way back. These might be interesting. So let's go ahead and get this going. Oh, okay. I literally don't know what the thing is called that you cook dumplings in or whatever, but that is exactly what Amumu is. There is the splash art. I mean, this is a cute skin. He's even sad in the cute skin though, but this is really cool.
Let's find some friends.
Let's see the attack. Okay, you get some cool little sound effects. Oh, look at that. Instead of a bandage, it's like a giant rope. That's pretty cool. And is that just straight up like shrimp in the top of his head? Is that what it is? I can't tell. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, this seems like a pretty insane skin. Obviously, it looks very fresh, very new. Like, I'm curious what some of the older designs are going to look like, because you can just tell, like, this is a very newer skin. Okay, this one's Heartache Amumu. Oh, I mean, yeah, you know.
Where are we going?
It makes sense. Okay, so it's got, like, Amumu, like, in kind of punk rock, kind of, or, like, kind of metal, you know, outfit, but with heartache. And we have a chain as our bandage instead. Oh, that's like, is that plaid? Is that what we're looking at? I like that. That's cool. Very metal Amumu here. The hair color, I think it's fine. I'm sure there's more chromas too, though, with it. I think I would want like a little bit of a darker, maybe even just like black hair to keep like the goth style going. But this is still cool. I mean, the theme of it, though, is you have, like, the red hearts. You can see, like, the little red hearts and the red musical notes. It's really cool. The locker. Oh, poor Amumu. That's a really great skin, though. These are really insane. Oh, this must be porcelain. Yep, porcelain Amumu. That splash art looks incredible. And Amumu is now just a teapot. Lovely. Or is it a tea? I don't know. Tea kettle? Something like that. No, it's definitely... Okay. Yeah. Oh, and then you got the porcelain noises. Very nice. And you have the, like, the bluish, black, and white colors for the theme. Yeah, this is solid. I mean, out of these 3 newer ones, they definitely are just, like, all super high quality. So, I don't know, man.
Okay.
They're putting a lot of work into these Amumu skins, and maybe it's because they can do, like, kind of creative stuff with just Amumu's look. Since it's basically, Amumu is basically like a blank slate of a Yordle, they can kind of do creative stuff like this versus, like, you know, Poppy, for example. They still have to keep Poppy's look. This, they, you know, they have a lot more to work with. Pumpkin Prince Amumu? Hold on.
Okay.
He's just a pumpkin prince. Okay, and we're going with blue, or no, not blue. We're going with purple and green. Perfect Halloween colors. All right, this is already, you know, top tier for me. I love the Halloween skins in this game. Oh, you see the little sad pumpkins on the top and bottom? That literally works so well because, you know, some people like to make their pumpkins like sad like that, right? I haven't carved a pumpkin, I think, in the last 2 years. I got to do it this year. Anyways, this is solid. No, actually, this is great. I don't know what I'm saying. There's bats flying around too. And obviously you see the green is like ghouls. Oh, you can see candy. This is a top tier skin for me. I love this. All right, let's see what the recall is. Oh, just looking at the pumpkins. Oh, oh, and even the pumpkin leaves him. That was an okay recall. It was fine. Oh, this must be yeah, Hex Tech.
Okay.
He looks like a probe from StarCraft. If you know, you know. I'll pull up a picture of it, but it's like the Protoss race in the Protoss race in StarCraft looks a lot like this Hex Tech stuff. We got like the little windy clock behind him, or like a wind-up toy. You know what I mean? And that's basically what he's like, a little Hex Tech wind-up toy. Oh, I like the like gear noises you're hearing with the Hex Tech. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then, of course, mostly blue and a little bit of like white with the color effects. Oh, a butterfly. Oh. Oh, the head detaches? Oh, that one looked extra sad. What is this now? Infernal. Oh, okay, Infernal skin.
Let's find some
Oh,
friends.
you know, I wish the fire was a little... Oh, I like the little sizzle noise. I actually wish the fire was a little more animated than static. You know, you can tell it's a little... It's static with, like, you can see some steam coming off. You can see a little bit of fire coming off. I don't know if they wanted to, like... I guess they wanted to keep his model 3D, like, static like that. So I could see why they did that. But it would have been cool if his entire head was just, like, actually moving fire. I don't know if they could do that, though.
Come play with me.
Sizzle effects, really good. Again, all of these are such high quality. Not to say skins from other champions haven't been mostly high quality. It's just we are getting really, really high quality. Pajama party? Oh, a surprise party. Oh, the splash art of Amumu, the penguin in the last one. What is happening? Oh, dude, surprise party Amumu looks so sad in the splash art. So now he's just a partly eaten mummy cake. That's what he looks like. Because we still see... Oh. Oh, what are those called? I actually... oh, my goodness. All right, you guys can roast me in the comments for not knowing what those are called. I'm sorry, I haven't used one of those in probably, like, I don't know, a decade at this point. Even for New Year's, I'm not, like, you know what I mean? But anyways, that's kind of fun. That's what's used at parties. Oh, even got the little, like, party noises like that. That's fun.
Aww.
Again, see, look at how much quality we're getting with a lot of these skins. Oh, the rain. It's just, yeah, like every single skin so far has had really good sound effects and really good sound design around them. Oh, the Teemo balloon? Why the Teemo balloon? Oh, okay. Well, now what are we looking at? Sad robot Amumu. Just straight up sad robot.
Come play with me.
Oh, the robotic voice. I kind of can't tell if there's like additional sound effects with that. There probably is. Oh, there's like a little bit of a zap noise. Yeah. I don't know if there was something Is that oil? Is that the idea? I think it's supposed to be like oil coming out of the robot. I don't know if there was like something going on in pop culture at the time that they wanted to do like an iron robot, sad robot version of Amumu here. Oh, see, like even this one has pretty cool
Let's find some friends.
designs going on with the skin. This one is definitely, I don't want to say it's a step down, but it's a tiny bit of a step down for me. Maybe it's just not what I'm looking for an Amumu skin. I love the plug though sticking out. That one was kind of whatever. That looked like maybe that's just his basic recall. So he kind of just sat down. We have Little Knight Amumu. See, this is what I mean about the fact that he's basically a blank slate for a Yordle. So this is why they can do such fun, creative things with him. They can just make him a whole nother thing without really needing to keep the Amumu style to him. I don't think there's anything. There's the crying. I was gonna say, I don't know if there's much going on with this one other than it's just a Amumu and Knight outfit. You still get like all the bandages and stuff, so this must be back to like regular. Yeah, it's a little bit on the cheaper end too. This must be back to like the regular kind of style.
Let's find some friends.
And design for Amumu. I mean, this skin's okay. If you're like tired of his original skin and you want to turn Amumu into a knight, sure, why not?
Let me give you a hug.
Yeah, okay. So literally his recall is him sitting down and clearly crying. I mean, technically that's a perfect recall. Almost. Oh, what are they doing to my boy? What are they doing with that hair? Oh no. Okay. Here we have Almost Prom King Amumu. Yeah, you know, Almost Prom King would probably have to be the worst possible outcome of prom. So you either have Prom King, you have Almost Prom King, or you have like the rest of the people that just honestly don't care about being Prom King. It would have been fine if he was in that category, but the fact that he wanted to be Prom King and didn't get it.
Okay.
They're just putting our boy Amumu in the worst possible scenarios, I guess. All right, so, you know, we're just seeing the regular effects for Amumu. If you want Amumu to have hair, perfect skin for you. Oh, and he's in a tux, right? So it's a little different. Re-gifted Amumu? What? What are they doing?
Okay.
All right, Riot, Riot, what are you doing? What are these skins? They were just like, okay, what can we do to Amumu to make him even sadder? What will hit with the audience? Re-gifted. So this is our, you know, well, I was gonna say this is our like Christmas style skin, but not necessarily. You could have a re-gifted gift during like a birthday or something too. I wonder if we'll get some sort of Freljordian style skin on Amumu. We haven't seen one just yet. And then the recall. All right, let's skip it. Now we have Emumu. So we had Heartache Amumu, and then we have Emumu. So obviously emo version. Again, if you want Amumu to have hair and then also to be emo, you know, not a bad skin idea. They got pretty creative with these. You know, the Heartache one, obviously way better. Not exactly the same, more metal punk kind of rock than this one. Obviously more animations and stuff, but you could see where they maybe got a little inspiration, you know, from the emo one. All right, let's move on to the next one. And this is Vancouver Amumu, huh?
Let's find some friends.
So what is Vancouver Amumu? The only Vancouver I know is Vancouver, Canada. But is it because he's in a winter coat? Is that what I'm seeing? And he's got 2 different shoes on? All right, I don't know what's going on with this Vancouver Amumu. Let me look at the splash art again. So we're wearing, is this Vancouver colors? What's going on with Vancouver Amumu? I'm confused by this skin. All right, let's move on to the next one. It's just got different colors, I guess. And last but not least, Pharaoh Amumu. Okay. That was the first skin, it looks like. And that obviously makes sense, you know, coming from where Amumu is with Shurima being a mummy. But I will say you can't really see Amumu very well with the giant Pharaoh, we'll say helmet basically on. But okay. I think they got really fun with Amumu when they got to Emumu. And then from Emumu, they were like, okay, hold on. Let's think of scenarios where we can put Amumu there and make it really sad. So then we got Regifted, Almost Prom King. I guess Little Knight doesn't really seem sad. But then you get Sad Robot and so on, and it gets worse and worse. Like I said, these were very, very high quality skins for Amumu. I'm going to pick my top 3 skins. I would love to hear from you guys what your favorite skin is, of course, in the comments. So please go ahead and do that for me. I'll pick my 3. So Pumpkin Prince Amumu is so good. This might be one of the best Halloween skins in the game, mostly because of the fact that like a lot of the effects and everything also include the Halloween imagery. So like a lot of the bewitching skins and stuff, a lot of the effects aren't this far Halloween forward. And obviously they did that more with Amumu because he's literally a pumpkin at this point, basically. So, you know, maybe they were just able to do it more that way. But like, yeah, a lot of bewitching skins I will say are having like a little bit lackluster when it comes to some of the actual design of the effects and stuff for the character. But yeah, okay. Let me pick my next 2. Hextech was really good. Infernal's really good. Surprise Party. You know, I think it's actually going to come down to these newer skins. We're for sure going to do Dumpling Darling. And it's between Porcelain and Heartache. You know, I'm going to go Porcelain Amumu over Heartache. I do like Heartache. You know, I don't see the chromas for it, so I don't know what other color combinations there are. But I just like Porcelain Amumu. I thought, you know, him being turned into this little like teapot thing, I think it just works. All right, guys, let me know in the comments what your favorite skin is. All right, guys, let's take a look at the trivia on the wiki first, and then we'll move on to the rest of the wiki area. So let's start off. Amumu's original icon for bandage toss shows him in a pose that references Spider-Man's web shooting from Marvel Comics. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Amumu is seen on a caution sign in the game's Mac version trailer. Okay. Amumu was the 3rd champion to attain 7 skins. Oh, he got, okay, so he got to 7 skins pretty fast. Amumu's dance references the Goth Kids dance from South Park adult animated series. I know the Goth Kids in the show. I don't know the dance. Both are in turn parodying classic Peanuts dance, a bizarre shuffling dance performed by the characters from the Peanuts comic and animated films. Okay, I do know that dance though, so then I guess I would know it. When Amumu dies, his pose is that of an Egyptian mummy with his arms crossed right over left. That's perfect. This is a nod to him being a Shuriman boy prince in life. Amumu's price range was lowered from $13.50 to $4.50 in accordance with the release of the Curse of the Sad Mummy music video. Oh, okay, so they wanted to make him cheaper. Amumu and Blitzcrank were planned to have sewn Chaos skins, but both were canceled for failing to meet Riot's quality standards. Oh, okay, so Blitzcrank was supposed to have them as well. They may return in the future. Blitzcrank is somebody that I haven't actually gotten around to because I know he's related to Victor, and they changed Victor's lore, so I kind of just didn't want to touch Blitzcrank at the time. But anyways, the word skin Sad Mummy Ward references him, and he has a base size of 50, which is considered medium. Okay. Amumu is considered medium. All right, let's go to the wiki. Okay, so we have on the right-hand side, alias is currently the Sad Mummy. Species is Yordle, he, him. Born 5,000 BN to 3,400 BN. Wow. Weapons are Cursed Touch bandages. Place of origin, Shurima. Occupation, Wanderer. Okay. All right, so we're skipping over a lot of this stuff up here because that's just background on the biography and story stuff we read already. Modern history. The legends of Amumu still endure in modern Shurima even after the death of the last emperor, Azir. It's widely believed that Amumu still wanders the desert as his cries echo through the winds while he despairs over his inability to find friendship. Some claim that they have actually encountered the mummy, stating that his very presence brings death and illness at the touch. A song known throughout Valorant as The Curse of the Sad Mummy details Amumu's loneliness as he travels the world in search of a friend. By the end of the song, it said that Amumu's fragile soul couldn't bear the curse anymore as he unleashed a destructive tantrum, destroying the town as he was tragically left alone once again, which obviously we just watched that. Though it's unclear what Amumu is looking for, whether it's redemption, companionship, or just a simple act of kindness towards him, his quest remains unfulfilled as he continues to shamble around the sands aimlessly. All right, and then we have recent events. Okay, and then the recent events section is the story part that we read earlier. So go check out the story if you skipped over that part, if you want to hear about it. Okay, appearance. Amumu is short in stature, about the size of a young child, and completely covered head to toe in dark green bandages. He has a permanently despaired facial expression as his yellow eyes constantly tear up as he cries. Personality. Because of his curse, Amumu is doomed to an eternity of anguish, despair, and loneliness. Because of his deadly touch, Amumu is incapable of embracing or befriending other people, forced to wander the deserts in a constant search for a true friend and wailing as he does so. I mean, the whole touch thing reminds me of Rogue from X-Men. Like, I know if she touches people, that's why she wears gloves all the time. Anyways, abilities. So immortality. Amumu has existed for centuries and remains as a child practically immune to aging. The true nature of his immortality is unknown, with some theories raised by his many myths ranging from his true nature as an undead child, a lost spirit, or even a yordle. Obviously up top at the wiki, it did say he was a yordle. I don't know if is it confirmed 100% that Amumu is a yordle, or we're probably never going to know. I think we just assume. Curse of the Sad Mummy. We know he has a curse. He has curse touch, and then he has the bandages. Okay, so we don't really need to read about his abilities. The only relation is the Khaldun one, which is the story. So, he runs into Khaldun in this little tomb. Khaldun ends up losing his arm because of it. So yeah, not much going on with the wiki here. I was hoping maybe we'd get a little bit more, but not really. We need Amumu to run into a champion. I'm sure there's voice lines of people running into Amumu, so I'm curious about that. 100% I already know because I've had interactions with Amumu on some of the other videos I've done, but I guess I'll be curious to see if he has any interactions with other champions. All right, in terms of content, all they have is the biography, story, and the music video. So we literally did find all the videos, all the biography and stories for Amumu. There hasn't been anything else. All right, we have a little bit of trivia. Amumu has been revealed to be a yordle. Okay, here we go. So he is a yordle within Wild Rift's guild versus guild interactions. While the information is canon, the events in guild versus guild are not. Okay, the information is canon. Many voice lines directed specifically to all yordles in-game include Amumu, further implying he is in fact a yordle. So with that information, because there's those 3 different myths that we read in the biography. 2 of them were about him being a prince or an emperor of Shurima, and then 1 was a yordle beggar. Is the yordle beggar story then true, or did Shurima at one point basically have an emperor that was a yordle? That seems interesting to me, essentially. That's why I'm very curious about this. Obviously, it seems like if there was an emperor that was a yordle in Shurima, it was a long time ago. Okay, and then here's an example of some of the voice lines.
A yordle? Yeah.
These are people saying it to Amumu, or Lowy's line when taunting a yordle, so this works on Amumu.
Why would I need a spirit cell? I am guided by Naga Boros.
And then this is Poppy if she were to interact with Amumu.
I don't get yordles. Too fluffy.
Amumu is at least 6,000 years old, having myths and legends about him dating back as the early days of the Shuriman Empire. All right, that's it, guys. That's it for the wiki. I'm excited to dive into these voice lines and see, what are we going to get out of Amumu's voice lines? Really. All right, everybody, last but not least are the voice lines for Amumu. I didn't imagine there would be much. We don't also have him. He's not in Legends of Runeterra, unfortunately. I would love for that to be the case, but he is not in there as of now. All right, looking at the voice lines, it looks like they did additional voice lines for Sad Robot Amumu and Porcelain Amumu and no others. So let's start off with the pick sound effect. Oh, you can hear the flap or the wind of the bandages, maybe?
I thought you'd never pick me.
Oh, come on. This is going to be so sad.
Ah.
Oh, no. How could you ever ban Amumu after he says that? That's horrible. Okay, let's go to the moving voice lines.
Ah.
Okay.
Where are we going?
Okay.
Let's find some friends.
Okay, I like the optimism behind that voice line.
Come play with me.
That one's a little scary.
Okay.
Not the sad okay. The taunt, what a crazy taunt.
Let me give you a hug.
I can hear the sinisterness behind that too. And then we have a joke.
Let's be friends forever.
How is that a joke? No. That's so bad. All right, laugh. Why is that kind of a gross laugh? I'm not going to lie. Okay. We have the basic attacks. Just grunts. And attacking voice lines.
Where are we going?
Okay, repeat.
Come play with me.
Also a repeat.
Hey, come back.
That's a really good one.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's find some friends.
Lots of repeats.
Aw.
Man, they need more. Okay, come on. Give our boy Amumu some more sad voice lines. Please update his lore. Give us some like... Okay, we'll get into it at the discussion at the very end, but I already have some ideas. All right, ability casting, we have using bandage toss. Just grunts. And then we just have his death sounds. Okay, I was going to say these first two just sound like he's like sighing, but then this last one kind of sounds like he's dying. All right, and then no additional trivia. Guys, that's the shortest. Okay, it's not the shortest. There's got to be one shorter than this, maybe, for voice lines for a champion that we've looked at before. Okay, Amumu. Guys, listen, I know we didn't have crazy amount of lore and things to take a look at for Amumu. You know, we did have a biography and story and a music video, so I'm pretty happy with that overall. But yeah, okay, let's get into the discussion of Amumu. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on Amumu. He's been in the game for quite a while. So, of course, let me know anything about Amumu, whether it be how he plays in the game today, how he played in the game back when he came out, things like that. All right, so first thing is we need more lore. He needs to be added to Legends of Runeterra. I know they just came out with like some Legends of Runeterra trailers recently, so they're still, you know, doing stuff to that game, even with the Rift game coming out. So they're still working on Legend of Runeterra. So Amumu might make his way into that game eventually, and we'll hopefully get some more voice lines at that point. All right, so I mean, what we got from the biography and story is very cool. I basically believe that he was an emperor of Shurima at some point as a Yordle a very long time ago, and he was obviously, you know, there was a curse. I think in terms of future lore, there's many things that they can actually do with Amumu. So that's why I'm hopeful that we'll get something in the future. I don't know Amumu's popularity. You know, there were a decent amount of skins. Now, I don't know. I think generally in my head, or I think somebody's told me this, but the more skins a character has in League, right? Generally, the more popular they are in the game. So he had a decent amount of skins. So I don't know if that means Amumu has actually played quite a bit, or is it just because Riot has that creative ability to do those kinds of skins with Amumu? Because like I was saying in the skin section, he is kind of like a blank slate for a skin. You can kind of just revamp him into whatever. You can turn him into a tea kettle. You can turn him into a knight, whatever, right? Or a pumpkin. So I don't know if that's actually the case, if he's actually popular or not. But yeah, so in terms of lore, we need to move some things forward for him. You know, learn more about the curse, maybe who gave it to him, how it came to be, maybe about the time when he was Emperor of Shurima. There's lots of things I think they could reveal about that time. In terms of where Amumu is at now, where he could go in the future, I mean, the core idea of Amumu is he will never find a friend and he can never touch another person. So we gotta keep his lore that way. But where I think they can move things forward is we have him meet up with other champions in League. There's no scenario, according to the biography or story in the music video, where we've seen him meet up with, you know, Yasuo or, you know, Graves, anybody, right? Like, think of any champion who actually, let me know in the comments if Amumu could meet up with somebody, if you would want them to meet up with somebody, who would it be? Like, who would be an interesting, like, little conversation between Amumu and who? Maybe Amumu and Azir, emperor to emperor, right? Like, do a little podcast with them. I don't know. It would just be interesting to have him interacting with champions, which we clearly don't have any of that. And it all, I mean, that kind of goes with the idea of his lore, where like nobody wants to be his friend or nobody wants to be near him. But I mean, he's in the game. He's got to interact with people. Other people say things about Amumu. We've had obviously, you know, champions in the past and voice lines where we've had people talk about him. But we haven't actually had Amumu say things to other champions. So I would love to have that kind of stuff in the future. Who knows what ends up happening with him and maybe the MMO whenever that eventually comes out too. Who knows? All right, guys. Thanks again for watching these. I always have fun doing these League of Legends and little champion reactions. We are going to continue doing these. You know what? I know I've asked you guys in the past who I should do next, what I should do next. I'm actually just going to do... I'm looking at the champion page. I'm going alphabetical order. Okay. That's what we're doing. I'm going through, and if I haven't reacted to that person and they're next, we'll see. So that's what we're going to be doing. I'm not sure who's even next on the slate. I still want to do Spirit Blossom and Star Guardian reactions, and those multiverses. I will do them. I just, I don't have all the time in the world, but I'll get to them when I can. Guys, if you're here still at the end of the video, please leave a thumbs up on the video. It helps me out and it helps other people see the video, and subscribe to the channel. What are you doing if you don't already? And if you've seen a bunch of these League of Legends reactions, you might as well go check out the other ones and subscribe to the channel. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.